Okay, hi everybody. This is Judy Carter, and this is the graduation of the message of you. Oh, what a great group we've had going into this. It's just been awesome. Look at all these wonderful people. There's Marilyn, there's Joy, Mark, more and more people here. Brian, who's doesn't have a picture yet, going here, and more. This is just awesome. And I am Judy Carter, and this is our graduation where we're going to have a clink. Everybody, clink, clink, clink. All right. We've been working hard. We deserve a little party because we've been working on our messages. And I don't know, let me just ask by a show of hands, how many of you have, just raise your hands, you actually tried to write a speech? Did anybody try and write a speech? Raise your hand. Raise your hand. You know how to raise hands? Can you raise hands here? All right, some of you raise hands. Well, regardless of which, first thing we're going to be doing is we're going to practice the message of you formula. So here's the message of you formula. And actually, I want to get the formula out, which would have been nice to have done this beforehand, but no worries. We're going to get the formula out here. And I'm going to lead you guys through, and we're going to do a little practice session. And in this practice session, what we're going to be doing is just kind of going through the message of you formula. And I'm going to, Joy and I did this, and I'll show you how this works in just a second. So we're going to start here with the formula. Can you guys see this formula? You want to raise your virtual hands? All right. So who wants to do this with me? And hey, Arlene, you're here. I'm going to just promote everybody to panelists. So who wants, can you guys raise your hand? Can you just want to practice? There's a button there to raise hands. Can you do that? Or you probably have to all be, you know what I'm going to have to do? I'm going to have to, just hold on, just 1 second. Right. Okay, I think it only works this way. Okay, so what we're going to do is, who wants to pretend to be a meeting planner and to give me a meeting, and you're the event planner, you want to hire a speaker, and tell me about your event. So we're just going to do a little improv. Who wants to give this a go? Anybody? Come on. Joy, you did it already. Do you want to try with a different thing? Or Joy? Okay. Veronica? All right. So Veronica, I'm going to have you did it because Joy did it before. Veronica, what I'd like you to do is, you're the meeting planner, okay? And what's going to happen is you're going to tell me a certain scenario, okay? And then I'm going to be thinking about the formula as you say it. Now, I'm just going to try and retain what you say and make up the message of you formula. Okay, so first of all, let's just say you're a meeting planner and I'm having a conversation with you and going like, tell me about your event. Who's it for?
My event is for a group of engineers, and they are dealing with a toxic boss, and they're constantly complaining about they can't get anything done because they're going to meetings, and they're not able to get anything done because they're always sitting in meetings. Even the meetings do not seem to be successful.
Okay, let me ask you something. How's the morale? Is it like a lighthearted, fun workplace where people are going like, "Yay, it's Monday, I'm at work"? What is it like there? I guess it's very dark and bleak because we seem to have lost you. Uh, Veronica, are you still there? Can you talk? I can't see your picture, but maybe you can talk. No. All right. Well, this is what happens when you start drinking and you try teaching while you're drinking. Oh, there you're back. Okay. So can you tell me, answer my question? Is it kind of bleak? You know, what's the atmosphere of your workplace?
Corporations, chemical companies.
Mm-hmm.
So they are just very analytical guys. And right now the morale is, they're not happy.
They're not happy. And what kind of results do you want a speaker to give you? Like, you know, they've heard it, they come away. What do you want accomplished?
I want to accomplish where they are more productive in the end, have a better attitude and more productivity.
Okay, more productivity. Okay, and a better attitude.
Yes.
Okay. Well, let me tell you what I do, because I have spoken for a lot of engineers. Matter of fact, my father was an engineer, a mechanical engineer for the Department of Water and Power. And believe me, I know how stressed these guys get and how serious they get. And sometimes the workplace can become oppressive. And because of the atmosphere, they're not getting things done. There's, you know, bad attitudes can get contagious. Do you know what I'm talking about? Is that like, you know,
yeah,
a problem? Well, what I do is I speak on stress reduction. And I come in because I was a stand-up comic, a headlining comic. I don't know, do you know Prince? And I was opening act for Prince. And I come in and actually show people comedy techniques and how to use them as a way to deal with stress, handle the hecklers in their work, and diffuse conflict. So in the end, they come to work going, thank God it's Monday. Would something like that work for you?
Absolutely.
All right, so I was kind of hemming and hawing my way through that. But if you can see, I'm going to share, and I should have shared this while I was doing this, so you can understand the message, how the message of you formula works. Is, you know how, in this case, it was engineers. They have a problem, and they're stressed. They're very serious. And from my experience, I put in that I was, you know, open act with Prince. I was a professional comic, because I speak on a lot of different topics. But I chose to speak on stress reduction from what she said. And, you know, I didn't put in I did put in a personal, you know, that my father was, it might have been nice if I put in there how I would make my father laugh, and all of a sudden he became like less of an engineer and more of a human, and, you know, and, oh wait, no, this is actually wrong from my, all right. And what I've learned, this should have been from my, a professional experience, so this word is wrong, as well as what I learned from my personal exam. I show the audience and I insert results, and I'm going to be doing this by showing them stand-up comedy techniques. So I apologize for this. This should be the word professional, and I don't know how to change it. So what I'd like to do is to hear your, Veronica, your, let's do this with you. And actually, I just got booked for a gig coming up in West Virginia. And I use this exact technique where I asked them, because as I've said before, you can't have the message of you formula down until you really know who your audience is. And because I'm having people approach me, I always have a conversation, because they'll say, well, tell us about what you speak in. I said, no, first, let me hear about your event. and I get them talking. And as they talk, I listen to what they say about their challenges. I plug it into this formula, and I get the gig. So, who are you going to speak to, Veronica?
Say that again. I apologize.
Who are you going to speak to?
I am speaking to nurses.
Okay, and just and what kind of nurses are these on? And what problems? These are the accidents. Okay, so let's have the conversation first, and then you go into your pitch, and make it kind of like be improv-y with it, right?
Okay. So don't focus on what I actually wrote for the short pitch. You just want me to improv it.
Yeah. Well, let's just I'm the client, so first you ask me. Go ahead.
Okay. So tell me about your event.
Well, this is an event for nurses. They've been very stressed out because, Veronica, we're constantly being told to improve our attitude. And, we have to qualify for HCAP scores, where we're related on patient satisfaction. And lately, we've had a lot of problems. We've had some malpractice lawsuits. We've had something like accidents in the workplace, and the morale is down. And, we're looking for an uplifting speaker who's really, authentic to help, and we have so many at our meeting. We have a lot of technical people. We have people talking about a lot of government policies and changes in HIPAA regulations, and you can imagine that's not very thrilling. So we're looking to have a motivational speaker to really have some great stories and lift people's spirits. So what do you speak on, Veronica?
Well, I am a registered nurse, so I understand how nurses are prone for stress and burnout. And I teach individuals on how to, excuse me, I teach on improvisation.
Let's go. Let me hold on. You're doing great. You're doing great. You're doing great. What I'd like to do is just put this on the screen. So, so we go, well, let's just try this. So you heard what I say. So start it from the beginning because you're doing so great. But I'd like to put the formula here and just know step 5 is professional. Okay, so go ahead. So what do you speak on? And I loved how you say, well, I know personally, that was great to put that there. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, I am personally a registered nurse. So you know how nurses are prone for stress and burnout. So yes. I teach how to bring humor through improvisational skills, and I teach improvisational techniques to bring humor into the workplace and therefore increase better communication.
Okay, that's good. Now let's try it again. Stick to the formula, because
now
you have really good. Because I mentioned that we had a lot of mistakes. Now, don't you have a story about that?
Yes, and what I did, Judy, is I have the longer version, and then I wrote the short versions for this, and this is what I actually wrote. You know how nurses experience stress that leads to burnout. I know as a registered nurse, and I am going.
No, hold it. Stop. You are more than a registered nurse. You're
improvisational techniques that lead.
Okay, stop. 1 second. Hold it 1 second. Tell me some of your professional experiences. You're a registered nurse, and what else? We've lost you. But what Veronica has, and I think this is a problem that most people have.
I'm a registered nurse. I have worked in home health.
We're losing you. We've lost you. You're back. But you can't just go, I'm a registered nurse, because that is diminishing. Everybody's a registered nurse. You go, from my professional experiences, not only being a registered nurse, but working, working with that, I speak on the topic because they have to fit you into a topic. And that's why I had a whole webinar bookable topic. What do you speak on? Leadership, communication. There's only like 7 of them, really. Stress reduction. And then the meeting planner goes, okay, so you can't go, I speak on improv. Because the meeting planner goes, we don't have a slot for improv. We need a stress reduction speaker. So we have to speak in the language that people get booked. Otherwise, you're not going to get booked. Does that make sense? Because they'll go, well, we don't hire we don't have a slot. We're looking for a communications speaker, a leadership speaker, a stress reduction speaker. That's why the formula. Like, I used to try and get corporate gigs, and I never could get corporate gigs, even though I was the best speaker ever, and I knew it. I was so much better than people getting gigs, but I couldn't get these gigs because I wasn't speaking in the language of corporate speaking. So that's why I created the Message of You formula, so you know how to speak in the language, in corporate speak. Because it's not about how good you are, it's about getting the gig. And then it's about how good you are. So let's just follow the formula. So, and just go, come on, you know how, well, nurses have this problem. And I mentioned that accidents were happening at work, and you need to repeat that. So you always repeat whatever the client said. So screw what you know and let's just do it. You know how, go ahead. I think we've lost Veronica. I can't get that back. So, but I hope you guys, can we hear you? Are you here? Can I hear you?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. So let's just give it a go. Actually, using this formula, okay? And I'm going to coach you. Ready? You know how? Who's the audience?
Nurses.
Okay, good. Have this problem.
Stress. They're prone for stress and burnout.
No, I mentioned some things, and you have to mention what I said, especially when there's accidents going on in the hospital, and people are being sued, and you can't just use bullets. I said to you a very specific challenge, so you have to repeat it back to me, because this is the entire key to getting booked. Because I can't remember what I said, but when you say, oh, so remember what I said? So I have this problem. Just repeat what I said.
Okay, you know how nurses are prone for stress and burnout, and it leads to an increase in mistakes.
Okay, have nurses, there's hospitals, just like you said, Judy, that people, there's accidents happening, it decreases morale. You have to improvise. You can't go into robo form. You have to ditch what you say, and you're talking to me. Okay? Yeah. So what you need to work on is the actual thing that you teach, which is listening, repeat back. Okay. And letting go of what you planned and getting into connecting to that client so you can score that gig. Does that make sense? Yeah. And then you go from my professional experiences, not only as a nurse, but I worked in home care, I worked here, name the companies you work for. I speak on clear communication, or I speak on stress reduction. Give me your bookable topic. Oh, it is here. I'm sorry. It's just twice. As well as my personal, oh, this is so effed up. Anyway, so my personal experience, I even actually know what it's like to lose in an accident because my daughter was lost, right? And I tell an inspiring story about how I went from that loss and what I've learned from it, because I show nurses how they can, no matter what they go through, no matter how down that they are, that they can bounce up. And I'm going to get these results by using improv comedy. And I am sold. Does that make sense? But you cannot mention improv comedy as a bookable topic because it isn't. Who else wants to try this? Thank you so much, Veronica. I love you so much. You're fantastic. That was great. Who else? Raise your hand if you want to give this a go. And I will lead you into it and make up shit, and you can try this because this is what you really need to do. Marilyn, I haven't heard from you. I'd love to hear what you can do. I'm going to, as you do this, Marilyn, I'm going to show this technique. Show this. So first of all, Marilyn, can you tell me about what you speak on? What's your bookable topic?
I show marriage counselors and social workers how to hook rural cowboys up with women to marry from the Ukraine and Thailand.
Well, that's very specific. What do you want me to be? What or do these have a, is there like, you speak to therapists, or do these people meet on the internet? Do they have meetings? It seems like a very small niche.
Yeah, face chat and Skype. And there's a lot of legalities that I teach them on.
Okay, can you tell me, have you been on the internet? Did you do the exercise to look to see if they have meetings?
Yeah, we set the meeting up and introduce them, kind of party line. And
okay, well, here's the thing. Do they have conferences, events, live events where they pay for a speaker?
Well, no.
Okay,
no,
so,
I just made up the whole thing.
Oh, you made it up. Okay.
Yeah.
Did you go through module 1? Did you go through it and pick, what's your bookable topic?
I don't have one.
Can't do the exercise. Sorry, Marilyn. But we'll come back to you for something else. Okay.
Okay.
So, but who else wants to volunteer to? All right, Joy, give me a second. Okay. All right. All right, Joy. Okay, who do you want me to be, Joy? Just one second.
I want you to tell me about your event.
Okay, and what do you want me to lead you into? What is it?
Well, my topic is stress reduction and communication.
And just remind me who your audience is.
Well, my audience is it's kind of varied. It's corporate audiences who. That's the question I'm asking you. You tell me. I'm going to try to improv my way through this.
All right. Let's say you want to speak to the Chamber of Commerce, and are they people who work in the corporate environment, or are they entrepreneurs?
Corporate environment.
Okay. Fantastic. Here we go. So, hi, Joy. Thank you for taking my call. Can you tell me what you speak on?
Well, actually, Judy, tell me about your event. Tell me what you're experiencing in your company right now.
Oh boy, Joy, it is not it. Well, I have to tell you, we are all of a sudden very successful, and we don't have the infrastructure to support all the orders coming in. So we're having a meeting where we're going to have, for the very first time, everybody get together, because we have people in LA and Oklahoma and in Singapore, and they're all going to meet together, and we're going to the main topic is to go, how can we hit these deadlines, and how can we do it without burnout? Because I'm very concerned that we are trying to meet these deadlines. We are just burning out our employees, and we would really like to have a speaker, help us deal with stress. So what do you speak on?
Well, you know how at work very often.
1 second.
Sure.
Okay. Sorry. So you better start your video. Oh, there you go. Okay.
You know how at work, very often we get so focused on staying connected virtually that there's such a disconnect in the physical world, especially with our bodies. We get out of our chair, we're trying to go present at a meeting or meet with a large group of people and network, and even in a real time with clients, instead of projecting confidence, our employees and people alike exhibit awkwardness and anxiousness and discomfort. From my experience working 15 years in corporate America with Caterpillar International, especially having achieved Six Sigma Green Belt certification, as well as in the last 6 years becoming a certified wellness practitioner, I know about the stress and the impact that stress and sedentary work environments have on the human body. My own experience was that I had become so stressed working in the corporate environment that I had fibromyalgia-like symptoms, created a lot of burnout, but I found a way to turn things around by occupying my own body. I lost 50 pounds and created my own business dedicated to wellness and body care. I speak on stress reduction and communication, which increases the effectiveness of communication, because after all, your major influencers lead with their physical presence. No matter where they're coming from, when they all get together, they're going to be in a physical space and they need to be able to lead with their physical presence. And it's not about weight, it's not about age, it's not about culture or even physical strength. It's about your relationship with your own body, and it's about being present and confident with yourself, and that creates authenticity and likability. Using 5 workable steps, I show how we can all project a natural confidence, get instant connection with clients as well as coworkers, and use conflict by giving specific body techniques that are appropriate at the workplace that show people how to have a physical powerhouse presence.
Okay, fantastic. Can we have some people who would like to give Joy some feedback? Anybody? What they thought about it, any way to improve it? I find I learn so much by listening and giving feedback to go like, what's working, what's not working. Anybody? Anybody? Arlene, Brian, Lindsay, Mark.
I'm wide open. You can't hurt my feelings.
Well, let me give you some, just a little bit of advice. I think what has to happen, I always find that people are very strong in a certain place and weak in others. So if we go through the Message of You formula, I think the problem needs to be a little more specific.
Okay.
Because I think you could talk about, I think we talked about the major 3 problems, which is health, wealth, relationships. And I think you really have to talk about and focus on health. You're enlarging your company, and you didn't mention that in it. So you really have to it's very helpful to do this exercise, to improvise and to listen to what I said. And you didn't mention that a big problem would be, what if my workers were so stressed that they were sick and they couldn't complete their tasks?
Okay.
And that would complete a chain reaction of not hitting deadlines, of missing this opportunity you have that comes, once in a lifetime when a product or service hits. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
So I feel that you didn't take advantage of what I was saying, of the challenges and the problems when people take sick leave, training other people. Then there's miscommunication. You can't get them pipeline. They're not up to speed, and that people who are not feeling well are not performing up to speed. And, we spend so much time sitting in a chair, working and pushing ourselves that, and then you go from my professional experiences, that was excellent. I need to get really clear, what is your bookable topic right up front? I speak on stress reduction through body awareness.
Correct.
So that's good. And then, you know, I mean, I even had a personal experience where in corporate America when I got extremely ill. And I found a way to overcome it. And I want to teach it to your company.
Okay.
And then I want to know the results, very specific. It kind of went to the results, and then it kept going and going and going. I want to lower your attrition rate. I mean, I want to hear very specific, you know, to go like, I want to come in and I want to show you a couple techniques that will absolutely lower your attrition rate. My techniques that I show people of body awareness will improve their focus, help them hit deadlines without having a debilitating effect on their physical and mental well-being. And I'm going to do this by, you know, interactive exercises, getting them in touch with stress reduction body technique.
Okay, so quick question on that. When you're talking about lowering the attrition rate, can I tell them, or should I perhaps ask what their current turnover rate is? You know, can they ballpark what their turnover rate is, and then?
Well, you can, whether, you know, but they're not going to know. It's just the friggin' meeting planner. Or sometimes, you know, what I get is like, you know, it's an admin who's been assigned to find a speaker.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, they're not going to know. But
well, and I would ask, you know, have you experienced high turnover in the past with that, or recently?
Yeah, but then they'll go no, or yeah, or I would just go not just it's not really high turnover. It would be maybe it's not attrition rate, but sick leave.
Okay.
Just sick leave.
Yeah,
probably work. So you want to make it a lot shorter, because I felt I was listening to a speech rather than having a conversation. And then throughout this, you want to go, is that true? Or does that resonate? And then they go, well, we also have, and then I add that and talk about that. So we need to remember that these are not speeches. The message of you formula is a conversation.
Okay.
Right? And that's why I say in module 1 to practice it.
Yeah, okay. And admittedly, I have not had time this week to get that done since we worked this out. So yeah, that's definitely on the to-do list.
Yeah.
I did see, and was it Nikki reiterated what you said, is because it was being read, it felt like a sales pitch, and so that's definitely something I want to make sure.
Yeah, I really like to. Here's the thing. Oh my God, this is so good. Ready? I'm going to say it. Here it is. Here it is. It's not necessarily about you. It's just about everything. I think the biggest, most important thing about speaking, I think you'd all agree, is that you have the most brilliant speech. And if those of you who are stand-up comics know this to be true, that you can have the best jokes. But if you're not connecting to the audience, they're useless. And I've had that experience of like killing one night with material, doing the same material the next night and bombing. So what is it? I didn't connect with that audience. So the first audience you have to connect with is the meeting planner. And we do that through our website, maybe, and that's why the marketing module is so important that I'm working on. And I've actually, as I learn stuff, I'm redoing my own site. But we have to connect with that meeting planner. And then we connect with that meeting planner. She will go, oh my God, this is great. This is just what we need. I want to tell I want to tell the committee about it. So it's not about doing a speech, and your speech is not about doing the speech. Does anybody have any comments or questions about this? Before we move on. Hey, Teresa's here. I haven't seen Teresa in a long time. Okay, cool. So anybody want to have anything to say? Just raise your hand. And okay, say they'd like to see video. Yes, you have to see video, but I have to tell you, they see a lot of videos. This is my experience. Nikki just asked, well, meeting planners want to see videos. But my experience is that they see a lot of videos, and it's down to, we have 5 people. We like these 5 videos. Who are we going to choose? And you guys have to get your first free gig to get that video. You know, that's the great thing about having a gig, is that you videotape it and you get like, you know, you get stuff from it. I'm constantly doing free gigs if it's going to be in front of a large audience that will buy crap and I can get a good video from it. So there's a lot of reasons to do a free gig. And when you're starting off, certainly. Anybody else have any other questions? Well, okay. Marilyn, did you have a question? Go ahead. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi. Oh, yeah. That's really brilliant what you said about knowing your audience ahead of time. I did a gig one time for a bunch of cattle ranchers, and I was doing Brazilian jazz and vegetarian songs. It was so bad. It was like, I couldn't get out of there quick enough.
We've all had that. And matter of fact, my blog going out tomorrow is about bombing and all the horrible, like, desperation things that we do when we're bombing. And so, yes, that's happened to all of us. But you're absolutely right, because unless we really know the audience, and it starts with the meeting planner. Anyway, so I'd like to move on here, because I want to know if you guys have done in module 2. Let me just go here. In module 2, you know what? I have to tell you, people, this is like so much harder when you've had a little alcohol. This is the last time I'm such a lightweight. I've had like that much. And I'm going like, what the hell? I just want to talk a little bit about module 2 and talk to you about that. This notion of improv is just awesome, because I don't write stuff. I have to tell you, my process is using exactly what I say here, is using improv, and I have to tell you, well, writing your introduction. Just a question: did any of you write an introduction? Do you have your introduction? I want to just talk a little, just very quickly about this. If anything you have to share during this time, please bring it up. Okay, Veronica, did you write an introduction? Go ahead. Go ahead. Do you have one? Or do you have it in your car, or is it available?
I do have it. Can you hear me, Judy?
Oh yeah, always, always.
Now, this is the core promise, correct?
No, not quite there yet, but let's move on to it since you're here. This is the first thing. So the way we write a speech, stay with me here, Veronica. The way we write a speech is by pretending the audience is asking you questions. And it's the easiest way to write a speech. Is like, you come up on stage and you say, like, the audience says, hey, tell me in a nutshell what you're talking about. Okay? And what you say is the core promise, which is the problem they have and the solution you're giving. So it tells the audience while they're here, while you're here. It just answers that question. People like to know what you're all about. So do you have, and this is called the core promise. Do you have a core promise? Go ahead.
Many of us are dealing with a world filled with stressors. Today, we're going to learn that by using humor and improvisational skills, we can thrive.
Okay, so many have a problem where they are what?
Many of us are dealing with a world filled with stressors.
Now, I would say that more conversation. How many of you are going? Give me an act out right there. Can you give me an act out? Deal with stressors. Act outs, do an act out. How many of you are going and go, just do an act out of a nurse in stress. Go on. How many of you are going? Go ahead. Put your hands up.
How many of you are going through
going and be in the scene. Be a nurse in stress. So how many of you are going? Put your hands up and be in the scene. Go. How many of you are going?
How many of you are going through stress?
No. And then say these words. Oh my God! If that bell rings one more time, I'm going to just poke my eyes out with a stethoscope.
Perfect, Judy.
You do it. How many of you are going, oh my God? Act outs generally start, act outs generally start with, oh my God. It gets people's attention. You just came out on stage. So how many of you are going?
How many of you are going, oh my God, if that call bell rings one more time, I am going to scream.
Okay. Do you see how much, rather than, I'm going to tell you how to deal with stressors, all right? I'm so stressed. Now, that's a good opening to a speech. What else could you say? Oh my God, do another thing. Just do it. Fast, improv. Oh my God.
Oh my God, if I have to deal with these women that are giving birth and just complaining about the pain, what did they think when they got pregnant?
Now go. Well, today, I'm going to show you. Now go on. Today,
I am going to show you how we use humor and improvisational skills so we can thrive.
Thrive. I don't like that word thrive. I don't know what it means. A little more detail. So we can talk in normal talk. Thrive. I've never used that word normal talk. So we can what?
Okay. So we can reduce stress and communicate better.
Yeah, but that's boring. So we can, like you want it to be like, so we can lighten up and reduce stress and, and actually maybe get along with the doctor. or feel better and, lighten up without gaining, lighten up. And actually, matter of fact, through my course, this hour talk, you're going to lose 5 pounds. Because I'm just going to take off burdens off you. See, that's how you want to talk in a speech. I'm trying to get you guys to get out of, and you're going to thrive. That's a bullet in an outline if you're in academia. But when we're a speaker, you want to go, so you can lighten up. And actually, everybody, let's all weigh in, because at the end of my speech, you're going to lose weight, because you're going to just be lighter. And you might even go like, oh, come to work and go, my God, thank God it's Monday. I feel so great. Because, stress and negativity wear us down. So you don't want to just go words. You want to be it. Does that make sense? Make sense? Okay. So
absolutely
volunteering for that. Now, who else wants to try the core promise here and see what we have with the core promise? Yes, right, Nikki, so we can unwind. Well done. Anybody else want to try this? Okay, we'll move on to the next part. But I hope you get from this what I'm saying when we write the speech is like, you want to do act outs and stuff. Okay, dogs are barking. All right, so that's the first question. Here's the next question. Why should I listen to you? Who wants to try this? Why should I listen to you? Why? That's the next thing you do in your speech. Anybody? Why should I listen to you? Okay, Marilyn. So, Marilyn, just know this is, you have a, but I'm going to put Teresa on first so, Marilyn, you can understand how this goes. Okay. So, Teresa, why should I listen to you? And now what we do is because you have a problem. All right. Can you tell me what the problem is? Who are you speaking to, Teresa? Teresa, I can't hear you. Hello? Okay. Why should I listen to you?
Hello.
Yes. Go
Can
ahead.
you hear
Yes.
me?
Oh my God, someone has a dial-up connection. Uh-oh. No, I think your connection's not going to work, Marilyn, Teresa. Maybe you want to write it down or something. Yeah. Nope, not working. Not working. We have a bad connection or something. Anybody else want to try this? Okay, Marilyn, go ahead. Why should we listen to you? Go ahead.
All right. You should listen to me because I've been married 34 years and
No,
I've traveled the world.
Well,
this
is where we cannot, in this step, we cannot mention these three words, I, me, or my. This is totally about them. Why should I listen to you? You have a problem.
You have a problem. You're lonely. You need domestic help, and you're horny. And can I say I now?
Okay, that's fine. No, well, we're still there, but this part is like, how many of you are now? You're using bullet words. Now, when we use bullet words, you're not painting a picture. You name things. We're not connecting. Talk to me about what's it like to be lonely. How many of you? Ready? Go ahead. So let's try that.
How many of you have been out there just riding on your horse all by yourself?
I don't know what a horse is, but talk about lonely, what it feels like to be lonely. Talk to me about it. Tell me about the problem. Connect with me. What is it like to be lonely? Talk to me about it.
How many of you know what it's like to wonder and talk and only hear yourself and have no one ever talk to you?
What you want to do is like, you know what, people? Life is not meant to be just by yourself. You know, how many of you are feeling like, you know, life is good, maybe you go to work and then you come home and there's a certain sadness. It's like, well, let me make a cup of soup for one. Let me make my dinner for one. And, you know, you've tried dating sites, it's made you even lonelier. Maybe you've tried, you know, so you want to really connect with the feeling of loneliness. And there's something inside of you that says, you know, there's something inside of you that says, I deserve to be with somebody. I deserve to feel loved. And yet I can't find that person. Do you see, people, the difference between saying the word, how many of you are lonely? Next thing. No!
So something like, how many of you know what it's like to come home to a home-cooked meal and be cared?
Talk to me about it. If you want to talk for 20 minutes about this problem in an hour speech, well, maybe not just one problem, but you really want to paint the picture of what it's like to be alone. And, you know, and if I was talking about loneliness, I would talk about how expensive it is. And, you know, wouldn't it be great to live with someone and have someone help you with chores and have someone to talk to? Let's face it, when you do something and a big life event happens and it's only you, that's really hard, isn't it? So again, if we're just doing one word, I'm sorry, I'm not going to connect, but we really want to paint a picture. Someone else give me a problem. Thank you so much, Marilyn. That was great. That really illustrated it. Nikki, go ahead. What do we have here?
Sorry, I'm my head cut off. Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Wait, do that too. Okay. here's mine.
Okay, great. Fantastic.
All right. All right. So, how many of you go to work on Monday wishing that it was Friday? I mean, really.
Yes. And now give me an act because you're going, oh my God.
Because you're going, oh my God, I've got so much work left over from last week. I can't even frickin' finish that.
Yay!
So what am I going to do?
Nikki, all right, raise your hand. Can you just, people, raise your hand if you go like that, like rather than going, how many of you are overwhelmed? Like what you just said, connected? Did you connect with it? Anybody? Yeah. Nobody connected with it?
What's wrong with them?
What's wrong with it? Yes, they connect. Thank you for saying that. It's like you go to work, and I love that observation. And when you come on stage with something like that, they'll go, yes! We come to work with everything left over Friday. Yes, she gets us.
Yeah.
So rather than saying overwhelm, we totally understand what you're talking about. I love that, Nikki. That's really good. What else do you have? Anything else?
Well, let's see. I did give the.
Let's go on to the next one. Let's go on to the next question, which is question 3. Tell me again what you're talking about. So repeat the problem and solution part. What do you have for that?
Okay, so the problem is that we're so overworked and so stressed out that we don't have time to do the work that we have that day. And the only way we can get that solution is to really unwind a little bit, have better working relationships, bring humor into the workplace, because without humor, you ain't got nothing. And
So that's a lot to promise in an hour speech.
all right.
So today I'm going to show you how to what? Organize?
Okay, today I'm gonna show you how to quit wishing that it was Friday on Monday, and how to be happy that you're at work by bringing humor into the workplace.
Yay! That's it.
Yeah. Okay.
That is fantastic. That is fantastic. So let's move on to the. So again, so far we've had was, what are you speaking about? Core promise. Why should I listen to you? Well, you've got problems. Tell me again what you're talking about. Repeat core promise. How do I know your solution will work? A credibility story. This is now you're ready to go into a story about somebody else. Oh, let me tell you, my friend Susan, she went to work. She had a heart attack, blah, 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 blah. And I helped her. And then you go into your action steps. And then what other things do you recommend? And you have different action steps. And why is this so important to you? Now, who has a heart story? Who has a heart story that, why is this so important to you? I just want to hear not hear the story, but going into the story. What would going into the story sound like? Nikki, do you have one, or how do you go into your heart story?
Well, because the heart of my message again is that creating that culture of kindness, and so that's really the heart of all my stories.
Well, what we want to do is saying this is we go into it. This is important to me because. Can you answer that question? This is important to me because.
This is important to me because I realized how much relationships are lacking in the workplace.
No, that's not a heart story.
Okay.
I know how important this is to me because in 1975.
Okay, I realize this is important to me because I worked in production on a television show, and I realized what was lacking in the workplace. And
Here's not a personal story. A personal story is a mess to success story. The reason I talk about this is because when my mother died, not knowing how significant she was. She died not knowing her contribution to other people. She died not knowing what her message is.
Okay, so
And
this is
I'm here to make sure. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So it's like,
it's something that my father gave me. He gave me the beauty of kindness.
what's your message to success?
My message to success is walking into an environment where everybody hated you for taking the position that you took.
Okay.
And when I took that position, I just was kind to people, smiled at them, and worked a relationship of trust between people. And before you knew it, everybody was working together like a well-oiled machine.
Tell me what the mess was. The mess was
Walking into an environment where people didn't trust the person in my position.
okay. I went from people hating me to being a leadership position.
Yes.
We really, when we tell a heart story, we really focus on the mess.
Right.
You can't go, I went to visit everybody here, but you know, I did. Because we really want to talk about the details of the mess.
So it would be like a mess walking into this situation where everybody thinks I'm sleeping with the boss. Seriously. And that was it. And even the boss's wife.
And the consequences of that and everything. And then we talk about, how do I get started? So then we go, right now, I want you to.
Okay.
So that's awesome. So, you know, right then and there, I've kind of run through this, but obviously it's a whole course, and you have until tomorrow to go through it. And does anybody have any questions about the steps for writing a speech? And it's simple. If you just turn on the videos, you just stand in front and record yourself. Hey, what are they have a problem. What is the solution you are giving? And try and do as many act outs as possible rather than going stress. You know, because you want to talk about it for a while. Well, you have a problem. You know, what is their problem according to either health, wealth, or relationships? What are you talking about? Repeat, you know, their problem, solution. How do I know your solution will work? Remember, we did an exercise early on about asking people about what a difference you've made in their life. This is where you can bring that story in. What do you remember I start with? Have an action step. And then what other things do you recommend? Maybe a second action step, a third action step, no more than 3. No one can remember that much. Why is this important to you? Because I was just like you. I was so stressed. This horrible thing happened, and then I learned and I got myself to success. If you look, I always, you know, when I coach people, I always say, hey, look at, you know, the successes in your life. What was your starting point? And, you know, I didn't even realize, I wrote that book, The Message of You, and I didn't even realize that, you know, get paid to speak. I forgot. I had a terrible speech impediment, and that became a compelling story. How do I get started? Imagine, you know, try, you know, take on. So anyway, there's all that. Anybody have any questions about, I know we kind of rushed through all of this, but, well, if there's no questions, I want to show you a little bit about, we don't have time for this, but I want to show you, I've been working on improving. Thank you so much. For those of you who took the comedy module, you gave me a survey, and gosh, we took what you said and we've changed things, honest to God. You said, we need to know ahead of time when the webinars are. So let me show you what I did. Because if now, when you go to the message of you, I'll show you this. I just want to show how much I love you guys and how I take what you say, like really, really seriously. Okay, so I don't know if you can see this, but if you go to the message of you, you guys said in the survey that you, we need to know ahead of time. So I don't know if you can see this right here, but it says webinar schedule, and then you click on it, and it has the webinars coming up. So how awesome is that? I'm having a public comedy one where I'm going to have some celebrity guests, so that should be awesome right here. And if you click on this, it has all the details and the sign up, and so you did that. So when this is over, you guys are going to have a survey, and I'll even mail it to you tomorrow if you don't get it, because when this ends, you're supposed to get a screen of the survey. Please spend 5 more minutes. So I want to show you a little bit about the message of you modules I'm working on in marketing, because I love marketing. I happen to think it's really about how do you be authentic and really connect to strangers and turn strangers into friends. So I'm going to show you just a little bit out of this. So what I did was create this thing called, there's 13 videos, and I'm going to show you a little of the video from something, a little bit of the rough draft from something I am working on. So let me just bring it up here. And it is, and you're the first people seeing this. Now, let me just ask you something. How many of you have raised your hand if you've heard of SEO, findability? Anybody? Joy, you have? Anybody else? Okay. All right. Some of you had. Well, here's the thing. You can have a lot of people spend a lot of money on a website, but they don't have anybody coming to it, and it's not mentioned in Google. So I found this expert, and she coached me on increasing visibility, and it's fascinating. And so here's a little excerpt from it. Let me just see if we can go to, let's see, video 1, 344. Show you a little bit from it. Oh, wait. You can't hear it. Okay.
It's in the background after you launched your blog. Because you never asked who cared. You cared deeply about it. But does anyone else think that way? And is that the way they'd search for it? And oftentimes you're just...
Okay, can you hear the audio now? Just someone put in, yes. Okay, great. Let me just show you a little bit.
So close, but you just miss each other by a micro inch, just this little tiny bit, because you're not using the same language.
What you're saying here really applies to the message of you formula, because as we start with, it's not about you, it's really about the audience.
Absolutely, and the more you can focus on that, the more successful your online marketing will be. We're going to talk about SEO writing and how do you implement this right away. And I don't want you to be intimidated by the word SEO. I like to call it findability, okay? It's just about connecting with users in the way they want to be connected with. So let's talk a little bit about how Google works, because you really have to understand fundamentally how Google operates. So let's take a look. Is Google a robot?
Okay, so I'm going to stop right there because this is fascinating. She teaches all these free skills on how to find what people are searching for and how to find your own unique words. And then I want to show you this other one right here. And let me just put this to 3. Okay, 3. Okay, this woman talks about how to write a website. Here it is. Let's see.
Message of you idea. Okay, so you've developed the message of you. That's kind of a broad statement. And what we do is we take that and we tap it down to something small, 5 to 7 words, and we're going to use that in your marketing so that when people come to your website, or run across you in any particular place, boom, they're going to get it. They're going to understand exactly how you can help them. So a promise statement is a short and sweet statement. It's kind of like a tagline. It allows people to see immediately how you're going to help them solve their problem. People might refer to it sometimes as a USP, unique selling proposition, or a tagline. It can often be similar to, say, a subtitle of a book as well. You know how the subtitle fills in the blanks of the how-to part?
Yes, and that is so anyway, you guys. So that is like, I have 13 videos. So I found these 13 experts, and it's blowing my mind of all the things that I've done wrong. And this is so great because you can have like, all right, you worked it, you have a speech, you can talk about, but these are all like marketing secrets. So I've got like these top people who not only know marketing, but this is what I had to find. I had to find people who know how to teach it. And so I have all these experts. So you guys don't have to pay, because these experts charge $500 an hour, crazy stuff, to do stuff for you. We're going to really DIY your own marketing. And it's going to be really inexpensive to view. I'm keeping these prices really low, and I'm changing the message of you to a subscription-based thing. And you guys are all legacy members, so you get like an additional discount, and you get a whole month free. And we're going to have like always have webinars on all different topics. It's going to be a bit different. So anyway, does anybody have any questions before I go? Because I think I have a date tonight. Anybody? Anything you want to say? Well, let's all at the end. Let's all have a toast. And here's to your career success, you guys. I love you because you hung in there. And you're trying. And I totally get that it's not an overnight thing, and it's like maybe even 3 months from now you go like, I get it. I got my first job, and I'm just really excited about it. So here's to all of you, and to be continued. We'll probably release this mid-July as soon as all this stuff comes together, but this wouldn't be impossible without you. And we're not calling it a university, by the way, thanks to Trump. Excuse me. We're calling it Message of You Members, and thanks for being the first. Love you guys.